Good evening. Welcome to Inside Out. I'm Pat Smith, and this is where we take you inside state and local government and to visit nonprofits that enhance our communities here in Montgomery County. Tonight, to help us do that, we have folks here from the Kensington Historical Society, Julie O'Malley, who serves as the president, and Steve Cohen, who serves as their vice president.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good to have you in here. Tell us about the Kensington Historical Society. I know that's a broad start, but just about the organization of it.
Well, I really feel like I need to start out with a little bit of explanation about why there is a historical society.
Good.
I kind of feel that there were two major events that happened in early Kensington. The railroad line came through, and they stopped at Knoll Station. So a little development came into the town at that time in 1873. And then Brainerd Warner came to town and bought 132 acres on the south side of the railroad and developed that into an area that is now a major part of the historic district. So the Historical Society and a lot of other communities decided to develop something to protect their communities when they saw that development was coming in and replacing some of the older neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. And so that's the basis for our society. We wanted to promote and preserve the heritage of the community.
Mm-hmm. What do you do for education and where people are exposed to it? Do you run different programs? Or?
Well, we have meetings, educational programs 4 times a year. We send out a newsletter. It goes to everyone who's a member, and it goes to everyone in the town. Mm-hmm. Has historical information and events that are coming up. The Historical Society also puts on a series of summer concerts. Every Saturday in the summer, they have a different band from the beginning of June to the end of September.
Wow.
And we put them on across from the farmers market at the train station on Howard Avenue.
And what time of day is that on Saturday that you have the concerts? Is it
It's from 10 to 11.
Yeah. So it's right there with the farmers market.
Right.
So they have some entertainment while they're at the market.
Right, and it's a wonderful time for people in the community to come together and meet each other and visit and get to know what's happening in town, and we get good crowds.
Yeah. And as with any historical society, one of the big roles, Steve, is for archive keeping. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. You know, we have a fairly extensive archive that we maintain in the town hall. And, of course, it has all the artifacts and all sorts of interesting things, historical photos, newspapers. We also keep oral histories of some of our older residents, which you know, particularly interesting. And one of the things we acquired recently was a toy collection from Isabel Barr, which is kind of interesting. And we always get a lot of attention for that because they're, you know, these little historic toys and kind of fun. And we have also the train show that we sponsor, which draws in a big crowd from around the county.
We thought, with Kensington being the town where people still walk and the train still stops, it was time for the train show to come to Town Hall. For 3 years, we've had over 2,000 people join us at the show. Train enthusiasts, young children, people who love trains of all ages.
Kids like things to go fast, and trains go fast.
He made a freight train boogie all the time. He made a freight train boogie and he rolled down the line.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Field with the Noyes Children's Library Foundation. We're here today at the Kensington Train Show, and we're very excited to be sharing this exposure in Kensington to allow people to find out about the Noyes Library and the Kensington Historical Society.
We are absolutely thrilled to have the train show here in Kensington. Kensington's history is intimately connected with the growth of railroads in our country.
And that's announced in the newsletter as well?
It's announced in the newsletter, and also hopefully a little later in the show we'll be talking about our new mobile website, which allows people to get instant access to everything that's going on with this society.
Now, the train show, what time of year is that generally?
It's always the weekend after Labor Day, on Saturday and Sunday both, from 11 to 5. And it's put on by Gary Ditto, the Ditto Group, and the town sponsors it, and the benefits go to the Historical Society and the Noyes Children's Library. And the Capitol Trackers put on a wonderful train exhibit of model trains in action.
And where is it? In
the
Town Hall, right here in Town Hall?
Yeah, in the main drill hall room upstairs.
If you want to see every little kid that lives in Kensington, come to the train show. It's really incredible.
A stereotype about historical societies is that they're anti-development, that they do everything they can to possibly get in the way of anyone renovating or changing the looks of houses and things of that nature, and even developing open space.
They think we're a bunch of fuddy-duddies that sit around and, try to stop things from happening. But
play the role of obstructionists.
Yeah,
That's their perception.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of a stereotype that.
It's not actually the case. Montgomery County has an ordinance, and the Historic Preservation Commission works for the county. And they're the ones that review any historic work permit for any of the locations in the county. So they're the ones that actually do the regulations. We encourage people, we give out information, we encourage them to restore their properties. They get tax credits whenever they do anything, even just to maintain it. Anyone that's in the historic district can get a tax credit for maintaining their home because it contributes to the whole
But we don't have
ambiance of the community. Sure.
Yeah, but we don't have any role in that. We have no official association or unofficial association with the decision makers. That's quite separate from what we do, and often there's a lot of confusion about that.
Our effort is more to educate people about the value of their community and the value of the history and the value of their homes to that history.
Exactly.
And I understand you're celebrating an important anniversary that's coming up?
Well, it's this year. We're 40 years. We've had a 40-year anniversary party in June on the Warner Manor, which is the large estate of Brainerd Warner in the middle of town. It's been a great 40 years. We've accomplished a lot. We developed from just a small group. Now we're quite a large group with a lot of support. And I think that most of the people in the town are aware of
the Historical Society existence.
Yeah, and the history of the town.
Where is that Brainerd estate? You say in the center of town, but which
It's actually on the south side of the town, and it's an oval, not far, just a block from here, right across from the Noyes Children's Library. When he developed his area, he put a center oval and then had curvilinear streets coming out from it. And so he put his home right in the center of that oval. It's at Carroll Place. And it's where Montgomery and Fawcett come into Carroll Place.
A little east of Connecticut Avenue.
Sure.
But it's a lovely park, and families have picnics there, and we've had concerts and various events on it. So it's a big challenge right now because the county is looking to improve the property and redevelop the manor itself and the carriage house. A very lovely place to see, and I think it would be a great asset to the county.
They're looking for a user that can move in, and that would be wonderful to have someone in the home.
Sure.
They've been maintaining the outside.
They being the county?
The county.
So it was gifted to the county, not to the town?
They purchased it. The county purchased it from a third party. After Brainerd Warner died, he sold it to Mr. McKinney. His children developed it into a nursing home around the middle of the last century, and they put big additions on it. After they closed the nursing home, then it was purchased by a group who then sold it to the county.
Okay.
And the county has removed those non-historic parts of it. Yeah. And it really looks very nice now. They're still working on it.
Very interesting. I've never drifted off Connecticut Avenue, I admit, in blowing through Kensington, but it's either been Connecticut Avenue or Knowles, and that's my exposure to Kensington, so I need to do a little exploring. How do you deal with the traffic congestion in Kensington? You know, I mean, from an historic society point of view, do you try to direct it in any particular way? I mean, the congestion of where University and Connecticut meet out here is quite a congestive situation, and any resolution to that would disrupt the town.
The town is trying to work out some other ways to handle it, and we're not really involved in that. What we're trying to do is unite the community. We also would like people, as they go through town, to be aware that there is a nice shopping district down Howard Avenue, and a farmer's market and concerts and train station, and lots of things go on in the community. We have a Labor Day parade, we have a fall festival, we have a Day of the Book in the spring, we have a car show. So there's a lot of activity in the town that most people aren't aware of if they're just driving through.
Right. So, and all of this kind of information is on your website?
It's on our website, and the town has a website. And so it's on theirs. Their official website has activities that are not just Historical Society activities.
Okay. What is the Historical Society's website?
It's kensingtonhistory.org.
Okay. That's nice and simple.
Yes.
kensingtonhistory.org. Very nice, yeah. So I looked at the site briefly, and I was impressed with it, I might say. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
We redid the website and recently, and we were lucky enough to get a grant from Park and Planning in Montgomery County. We put in over 1,500 hours of volunteer service in there, and we also hired a contractor, Actualized Studios in Rockville, did a great job for us. And the site is much expanded and improved, but the key thing that incorporates is a walking tour. So with a mobile phone, as you walk through town, or you could, on your bicycle, you drive, it'll show your position in the town, and it has what we call pinpoints for specific places for all the historic houses in town, our key landmarks, our parks, and also historic photos. So if you're any particular point, you can look to your map and see that that's what the town looked like in 1890, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And for the houses, there's a detailed description of the house, plus a photograph of the house. And it's all overlaid in 4 designated tours, which we kind of set up to help people find their way, sort of an efficient route through the town. Or if you're just wandering around, it works fine too. And I think one of the really nice things about the site is it has an audio, so you can go in there and listen to the story about the town. And you just press a little button and the audio comes up, and it was done by Allison Aubrey, who's a national radio figure, so it's a beautiful voice and really well done.
Welcome to Kensington Town Hall. If this building looks like a fortress or a castle, that's because it was originally built as an armory for the Cannon Company of the 115th Infantry. Constructed in 1927, everything about this building's exterior exudes toughness, from its thick brick facade masonry to its reinforced windows and doors. Buttresses mark off the bay windows to reinforce the main hallway. The extra wide doors in the entry are large enough to fit a vehicle through. In fact, originally, there was a ramp that led right up to the entrance where trucks and other heavy vehicles could unload. The ramp was removed in the mid-1970s and replaced with a terrace and an arcaded entry to the basement level, which you can see today. The upper level houses the town government offices. The main level, in the drill hall, is large enough to accommodate everything from plays to dances to religious services to the widely popular Kensington Model Train Show. Other parts of the armory have an eclectic history. At one point, there was a firing range down here, as well as a bowling alley, and even a DMV. Up until 1947, it was also the home of the town's fire department. Today's town hall still has a wide range of uses. It's the town's main polling place and is the location for all official town business. There's a TV station in the basement. The armory is also the home to the Kensington Historical Society archives, where you can find a treasure trove of photographs and documents relating to the history of the town.
We'll come back and talk more about that as soon as it's time now for us to take a quick break. I'm Pat Smith. You're watching Inside Out. With me tonight are the folks from the Kensington Historical Society, Julie O'Malley, who's the president, and Steve Cohen, who's vice president. We'll be right back.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back. You're watching Inside Out. I'm Pat Smith, and with me tonight are the folks from the Kensington Historical Society, Julie O'Malley, who serves as the president, and Steve Cohen, who serves as the vice president. Just before the break, we were talking about the walking tours and the audio of the Historical Society. The walking tour thing, I think, is fantastic. I went on one myself in Oak Park, Illinois, right out west of the city line in Chicago, which is where Frank Lloyd Wright resided and designed a whole bunch of the homes, and his own home and his mother's home and things of that. And I just found it fascinating, and I've never taken the time to do that before, but I'll put it on my list of what to do here.
In 1994, it was the centennial of the town, and we prepared a little booklet about the walking tours of Kensington, and so that's how the website grew. From that, we took the walking tour and expanded it.
That's great. Why don't we take a moment now to watch some of that.
Welcome to the Kensington Historical Society. I'm Allison Aubrey, a resident of the town. Kensington's history has helped shape our unique community, and we hope you enjoy exploring it with us. The website's main feature is an interactive walking tour featuring 4 designated tours with over 40 historic homes, 9 landmarks, and numerous historic streetscape photographs. If you're more interested in just a casual stroll around town, the interactive map will help guide you. It will also help you find a great place to eat or shop during your visit. So step back to a place that echoes an earlier time. Stroll along curvilinear streets. Experience the vision realized by Brainerd Warner at the turn of the 19th century when he transformed a tract of farmland into the garden park community that endures today. We love the charm of our little town and the pull of a gentler time. We know the only way to really see a neighborhood is by walking through it, so we invite you to take in the historic homes, the mature trees, the gracious gardens, and as you stroll, enjoy the many parks you'll see along the way. For us, they're a vital part of our community and a respite from the hubbub of 21st century life.
Okay, so now we've seen there are 4 designated walking tours. And you can just pull this up on, explain how you can access them.
Well, you go to kensingtonhistory.org, and the site will come up, and there'll be a home page. And there are various drop-down menus, and one of them is walking tours. And you hit that button, and you'll see there are 4 tours that come up. And you select the one you want, and then the map will appear. mobile phone will recognize your GPS position, so it'll show you where you are on that tour and how to get to the first site. And when you're at that site, you can just punch that thing, that particular site, and the information will come up. And the information is very extensive. It's more than just a brief description. It'll tell you a little bit about in a house, about the architectural features of the house, maybe some details about when it was built, and things of that sort.
Is it an audio description?
The audios are only on the major landmarks we have. So when you go to the train station, it'll give you a description about that. There'll be, I think there are 9 major landmarks that we have. And then we have a welcoming audio at the very beginning, which we encourage people to listen to. So on the home page, you'll see there's a little button there for the audio. It's called a welcoming audio. And it'll tell you a little bit about the site as a whole and about the town. But hopefully we tried to make it easy to use. I think a lot of people with smartphones now, it'll be intuitive on how to use it.
But I would mention that it's also on your home computer.
Yeah.
For those people that
is that
don't,
right?
Yeah, you can see the same thing on your home computer. So, for those that don't have smartphones, they can still
Or don't
look
have
at
the
it.
ability to go out and walk.
Yeah.
Or they're in their car or something like that. Yeah.
What is the use today of the train station?
It's still a train station.
Does the commuter line go through?
Yeah, the MARC train.
MARC train goes through.
And it's also the center for the farmers market we have every Saturday.
Right.
So it tends to be a center of activity, and people see the train station as kind of one of the identifying features of Kensington.
Right.
Although Warner Circle really is the Warner Park, and the mansion is really one of the key features of the town.
Right.
So.
Now, as with every part of Montgomery County, the demographics have changed quite a bit. What have you observed?
Well, they come and go. When I first moved to town 40 years ago, there were a lot of children in town, and they grew up with my children. And then there were mostly older folks in town, so things died down a little bit. And now we've got another whole group, a whole generation of new kids. So it's a wonderful thing about Kensington that actually during that whole period there was always a mix, so that of generations. So that's been a nice thing about the town.
And the high school in the town limits is Einstein High School?
The town limits, it's Walter Johnson.
Oh, it's what? Really?
Yes. The school districts change from time to time.
Right.
But finally they decided to have the entire town in one school district. So they go to Kensington Parkwood, then they go to Westland, and then they go to Walter Johnson.
I didn't realize that it extended that far to incorporate that area of Old Georgetown Road. I have to visit the history.
The town does not.
No, the town itself does not, but that's what it is. School
The
district
school district,
encompasses, yes.
They're very wide.
How do folks that are viewing the show here, how do they want to become involved, how would they do that?
Well, they can come to our meeting on October 3rd. We have a meeting here at the town hall at 7:30, and we're having a wonderful speaker, Cynthia Monroe, who wrote a history of Gasoline Alley, which many people don't realize is right here in Kensington behind the firehouse. There were several hot rod clubs there, and it's quite an extensive history of it.
It's very interesting.
So people should enjoy that, but also they can come to the archives on Thursday afternoons. If they're in town, they get our newsletter, but if they'd like to email us, info@kensingtonhistory.org, we can put them on the mailing list. We hope that people will join the society. Then they all get all these notices in the newsletter.
And the easiest way is on the website. So you could just go to the website, and there's a button for become a member, and it goes right to PayPal. So we make it very easy. You can become a member in about 3 seconds. And
we're one of the best deals in town, $20
yeah.
per individual.
yeah,
Then
it's
how do
incredible.
Where do you obviously don't sustain the operation with membership fees of $20 a year.
Well,
How do you raise, where are your funding sources?
we do pretty well, actually. We
Well, no.
we
Hold-
have
wait,
members,
wait.
but we also have
We need
we
money.
we
do.
look for more members, but we also put out this calendar every year, and we get sponsors for the calendar.
Okay.
And that's a large percentage of our income.
Sure.
And then
And
they
it-
get something inside the calendar that advertises their business. And it's also listed on the website and in the newsletter and in the concert flyers. So they get a lot for their money.
Sure.
And the train show is also a big fundraiser.
Oh, there's an
for us,
admission
too.
fee for the
Yes,
train show?
Very
$5
modest, $5.
for kids.
But membership is a bargain, really.
And we take donations.
We take donations, yeah.
Many people will just hit the Donate Now button on the website.
Okay. That
And
works.
it also has an opportunity if you want to volunteer.
We love to have volunteers, adults and children.
Can we have the website one more time, please, before we wrap up for the evening?
It's www.kensingtonhistory.org. And it's not an app, it's actually a website. So just bookmark it in your web browser, and it'll come up every time, and it'll always be updated with current information.
Thank you very much. Very informative.
Thank
Julia
you for
O'Malley,
having us.
President of the Kensington Historical
Thank you.
Society, and Steve Cohen, the Vice President. I'm Pat Smith. This is Inside Out. It's on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 7:30. Have a good evening.